Right now at 5, Joplin police investigate a recent string of nighttime car burglaries.
And we've got an alert day today for the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms, wind and hail the primary threats. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, at Thrive Allen County, cut the ribbon on a new naloxone vending box installed outside their Iola, Kansas office.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So we do have an alert day today for the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms. And I know right now you step out, it doesn't really seem like it. We have clear skies. It's not too bad, but you can almost smell the rain in the air out there. So we're going to talk about what we're expecting today. So we talked about that cold front that's rolling into the area, and that's expected to start making an impact in our region here through the morning hours. So we're looking at the possibility of severe thunderstorms across the entire region, and we're looking at roughly a time frame between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. So right now, as you can see on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, in our area, nothing. Immediately to our north, though, severe thunderstorm watch. No active warnings at this point, but they've had some severe thunderstorms roll through the Kansas City area. And you see this line extending from St. Joseph all the way back down toward White City and Marion, Kansas. That's the cold front. And this is beginning to fill in. In fact, even just in the last hour or so, there's more development through this zone than there was earlier this morning. And that's the area we're going to be watching. So if we put this into the loop, you can see activity continuing to gradually fill in along that cold front as it begins to approach the area. And it should start setting off some storms in our northwestern counties in the next couple of hours. And then some of those could intensify with that strong to severe thunderstorm threat. So here's a look at what we're expecting. We have a low tornado risk, but that's a little further to the east in our eastern counties because these storms should be entering a more favorable environment for them to intensify a bit more as they head off to the east. We have a low to elevated hail risk, but it's just a sliver of the area, and a low to elevated wind risk across the area. But again, these storms are going to start in our northwestern counties, so even if you're not highlighted, doesn't mean you may not see a strong storm or two as we head through the morning and afternoon hours. Right now in Joplin, it is 69. There it is. Pittsburgh, it is 68. And with that cold front, here's the tough part about that cold front. High temperatures today. Depending on how quickly it passes through, some of you, these are your highs right now. You're not going to get much warmer than this. So low 70s in Yates Center, upper 60s out there. However, a little further east, if you get a little more sunlight, a little bit more warming, you could go upper 70s, maybe even close to 80, but it's all going to be dependent on how quickly that cold front rolls through the area. Here's what we're looking at least right now based on the latest data. 65, kids getting on the bus, mostly cloudy, gusty south winds. By this afternoon, once the front rolls through, the winds will shift out of the north, still gusty, pushing 35. Those scattered thunderstorms, but take a look, only a couple degrees difference here, 67 when the bus brings them home, and that is because temperatures will warm, and then as that front rolls through, they're going to fall right back down heading into the afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on these thunderstorms as they start to develop across the area, and of course we'll bring any latest watches or warnings out there, and we'll have more on your full forecast, break down these storms in more detail for you here in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. A lieutenant with the Columbus Police Department is charged with child sex crimes. The KBI has arrested a lieutenant with the Columbus Police Department for child sex crimes. KBI agents arrested 55-year-old David Justice of Baxter Springs near his home around 7:15 yesterday morning. Justice faces charges of aggravated indecent liberties with a child, indecent solicitation of a child, and promoting obscenity to a minor. The Columbus Police Department asked the Bureau to investigate allegations against Justice in February of last year. At that time, the department placed him on unpaid administrative leave from his position of lieutenant. Well, just before 6 p.m. yesterday evening, a head-on crash occurred near Tipton Ford on Gateway Drive that involved 3 Neosho residents. Missouri State Highway Patrol say 22-year-old Joshua Niswanger and 23-year-old Lakin House both suffered serious injuries. They were struck as a white Nissan crossed the center line driven by 50-year-old Ernie Kozin. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Gateway Drive was closed nearly 2 hours as the patrol's major crash investigation unit marked the vehicles before they were removed. If you're ever on the go and want to still be able to watch our newscasts live, just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available free of charge on the App Store of your choice. Just search for the KOAM Plus app. Well, Thrive Allen County cut the ribbon on a new naloxone vending box installed outside their Iola, Kansas office yesterday. Naloxone, or Narcan, is a drug that can swiftly reverse opioid overdoses. This is one of many naloxone boxes popping up around the state, but this is the first one in Allen County. SEK Recovery Resources and Thrive Allen County hopes to break down barriers for immediate first response to an opioid overdose and save lives by placing the items in a free and easy newspaper-style machine. Joplin police say several thefts from vehicles happened throughout the city over the past few days. KOAM's Fernanda Silva spoke to a resident who said a person entered his car to steal items from it.
Actually heard a car alarm going off around 11 o'clock, and I looked around the neighborhood to make sure I didn't see anything, and we went back inside and called it a night. And then the next morning when I came out to get in my truck, I noticed the door was partially open, and that's when I knew someone had been in my vehicle.
This video was recorded by the Joplin resident home security camera after 11 Tuesday night. It shows a woman walking in the driveway toward the driver's seat door. The car is unlocked. She opens the door and moves the items in the center console.
I know it was at least mine and two other neighbors, because the one with the car alarm going off, and then my neighbor immediately next door was outside this morning, and I told them to check their vehicles in case something was missing, and they said they actually did have stuff missing out of it.
This is the second time a theft happened in the driveway of this citizen. He had a dirt bike stolen 3 years ago, the reason why he installed the security cameras.
Thefts from vehicles tend to be crimes of opportunity, where criminals will walk down the street and open door handles, and they'll enter the vehicles where the doors are unlocked, so make sure to lock your vehicles.
Besides locking your door, police also advise you not to leave valuable items in your car and call 911 if that happens to you.
If we know where things are occurring, then we can devote resources to those areas.
So I guess it's kind of a lesson learned in the sense of keeping the cars locked.
I didn't lose anything too important to me, but absolutely lesson learned about keeping the vehicles locked at all times, because you cannot trust people.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
According to the police department, the number of thefts from vehicle reports decreased this year compared to the same period last year. Between January 1st and April 16th of 2023, about 67 cases were reported. This year, there were about 43. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. 5 Webb City Cardinals seniors have put pen to paper to sign their national letters of intent. We'll have the details. Plus, red lava from a volcano in Iceland meets up with the cool blue and green lights of the Northern Lights. And rain chances return. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
USA, helping keep our first responders safe.
This is the type of gear that we receive.
Tracking conditions to help keep your family safe. Sponsored by John Cotton Roofing.
Yesterday afternoon at Webb City High School, 5 Cardinal seniors put pen to paper to sign their national letters of intent to continue their academic and athletic careers at the collegiate level. Emily Countryman signs with Missouri Southern Cross Country and Track. Baron Duda commits to NEO to play basketball. Connor Gaiman commits to Missouri Valley football. Sean Hunt signs with John Woods Community College baseball. And Levi Lassiter signs with Pittsburgh State golf. All of the Cardinal signees are excited for the next step in their journeys.
For a long time, I didn't think that I was going to be able to sign somewhere or earn a scholarship, so putting in a lot of hard work, day and night. It didn't really matter any time of the day because if somebody's getting better and I'm not, then I'm wrong.
So my first 2 seasons, I didn't even think about college golf. And then I heard of the Pitt State program, the golf program starting back up, and it kind of inspired me to want to pursue collegiate golf. Oh, it's awesome. I'm gonna be so proud to be a Gorilla, and I feel like this is the opportunity I've been waiting for.
I've worked since I was about 13 years old to get to this point. I've always, been to college games, seen all this stuff, and it's just the next step forward in the process. I'm not done here.
They had came to a few practices throughout the season. I'd been in touch, but towards the end of the season, just started talking more, went on a visit, and got the offer and was just super excited, was ready to commit.
Columbus High School softball is red hot right now. The Lady Titans have won 10 consecutive games entering yesterday, where they play a doubleheader at Northeast. It's a non-conference game between 2 of the top softball programs in Southeast Kansas. In the top of the first, Tori Tedlock gonna hit a fly ball to left field, and that ball finds the fence. It's an RBI triple, and Columbus gets this game started with a 1-0 lead. A little later in the inning, Shelby Underwood starts to settle in as she gets the swing and the miss. On the other side of the dugout, Gracie Major was locked in. Major finishes the second inning with back-to-back strikeouts. And then Major shows some of the high heat to get out of the third. Major continued the stellar pitching performance as she never allowed an earned run. In the top of the third, Columbus leads 2-0. Helping her own cause is Gracie Major as she belts one deep to center field. Bounces off of the outfielder's glove and over the fence. That's ruled a solo home run. Columbus goes on to dominate, takes game 1 by a final score of 9-0. Second end of the doubleheader is even more lopsided. Columbus dominates, scores 13 runs in the 5th inning alone, and goes on to win 21-1. The Titans have won 12 games in a row. Well, still to come, if your job is not very demanding, it could put you at risk of dementia when you're older. Plus, we have that alert day today, strong, possibly severe thunderstorms as we head through the morning hours. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now, you can get in the seat of a John Deere compact tractor, mower, or Gator and 2024.
Are you game?
I am ready.
Then take a spin on the Wheel of Fortune.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:16 coming up on 5:17. We have an alert day today for that possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, right now, there's nothing out there. Skywatch Storm Tracker in our zone is clear. This is the cold front. These thunderstorms continuing to develop, and they will continue to do so, and they'll push off to the east-southeast as that front rolls through. Right now, the primary concern for stronger storms at this point is up to our north. You can see that severe thunderstorm watch cuts off right at our northern counties, and we've had some strong to severe thunderstorms in the Kansas City area. No severe thunderstorms at this point, but they could re-intensify. This is what we're watching, is the development down to the south along the front. And that's going to bring us our opportunity for strong, potentially severe thunderstorms as we go through the morning and early afternoon hours. So take a look on the loop. You can see these storms getting together. They start as just a few showers. They're starting to get organized, and they're starting to develop further off to the south and west along that frontal boundary. Here's what we're looking at in terms of severe threats. So we have a low-end tornado risk, mainly in our eastern counties, and then we have a low risk for hail and just a clip of an elevated risk out there, and then we have a low to elevated wind risk. So the thunderstorms, they're going to roll into our northwestern counties, and they'll begin to intensify a bit. That's why at this point, these risk areas are a little further to the south and to the east across the area. But even if you're not highlighted out here, if these storms intensify a little quicker, we could still get some stronger storms across parts of southeastern Kansas through the morning hours. We're looking after about 8 a.m. So here's 8, now here's 9 a.m. Here comes that front, and here come those showers and thunderstorms as they roll through the area. They may be scattered, as the future track is potentially suggesting. However, some data suggests they may form a pretty solid line of thunderstorms across the area. If that happens, that's where our severe threat goes up just a little bit. But we'll keep an eye on these storms, and they're going to stick with us as we head into the early afternoon. So here we are at 3, maybe a thunderstorm out there as well. And then by 4 or 5 o'clock, the rest of these begin to roll on out of the area. And behind this front, we are considerably cooler. And that's the other issue here, is determining high temperatures across the area. We're going to go back into the 40s tonight. That part's easy. It's the high temperatures. If the front moves a little faster, some of us may not get very warm at all. If it slows down a little bit, some of us may have an opportunity to get a little bit warmer. We're going to discuss that here in just a moment. Right now, it is 69 in Joplin, south breeze at 20, gusting to 30, dew point 61, humidity is 75%. As I mentioned, if you go out this morning, you can kind of smell the rain out there. There's that frontal boundary. Yates Center, Chanute, Iola, Neodesha, Sedan, these may be your highs today. That front's not too far from you. This may be about as warm as you get before that front rolls through. So we're talking afternoon temperatures kind of hanging out in the upper 50s out there. However, the further south and east you go, we have that opportunity to maybe get a little warmer. Now, right now, the data suggests we're talking maxing out across this zone, right along the I-44 corridor, maxing out at about the mid-70s out there. Some data suggests some locations could even reach about 80, but it all is going to depend on how quickly that front rolls through the area. So we're going off of the 70-degree data. So here's what we're looking at. Scattered showers and storms, breezy through the morning, 72, and you see those temperatures kind of fluctuating out there, especially with the rain showers. We're looking at highs averaging the mid-70s out there, but again, some of us, this is as warm as you're going to get, and you're going to cool down behind the front. Once that front rolls through, as you can see, temperatures do begin to fall by the afternoon hours, and they'll continue to do so. Thankfully, they don't plummet, but they will continue to fall through the evening. Winds will shift out of the north behind the front, and it'll be pretty darn chilly tonight compared to where we've been lately, down to 45 for our overnight low. Below average temperatures heading into the weekend, 60s. Evening showers tomorrow, continuing into Saturday and Sunday. Not a bad Monday, and then we're watching additional thunderstorm chances as we head into the next work week. Let's check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
It's Wayside Furniture's big spring sale, and it's going up.
Then I help make a moment like this possible, and I know I am.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a health alert to pass along. Childhood emergency room visits are on the rise due to kids accidentally taking melatonin. Makers of melatonin supplements are now being asked to tighten standards by a leading trade group for dietary supplements. The Council for Responsible Nutrition is giving those supplement producers 18 to 24 months to voluntarily add child deterrent packaging and improve cautionary language on labels of the over-the-counter products. Melatonin regulates the body's natural sleep-wake cycle, but as a dietary supplement is not federally regulated. The trade group says an April 2023 study found 25 products labeled as melatonin gummies contained dangerous levels of the hormone. The council also suggested that melatonin gummies should receive additional warnings, such as a choking hazard if not chewed properly by young children. Well, a new study suggests the more the time adolescents spend on social media, the greater the likelihood that they will be bullied about their weight. The multinational study was published Wednesday in the journal PLOS ONE. Researchers found that each additional hour of social media use was equivalent to a 13% increase in prevalence of experiencing weight-related bullying. X, formerly known as Twitter, and the Twitch platforms were associated with the greatest increase in weight-related bullying. The risk increase was 69% for Twitter and 49% for Twitch. Well, if your job is not very demanding, it could put you at risk of cognitive decline and dementia when you're older. A new study analyzed health and occupational data on 7,000 Norwegians who were followed from their 30s until they retired in their 60s. It found that having an occupation that's not mentally stimulating was linked to a 66% higher risk of mild cognitive impairment and a 37% greater risk of dementia after the age of 70. That's compared with having a job with high cognitive and interpersonal demands. In summary, your work is really important for your cognitive health. When Arizona's Supreme Court ruled that a near total abortion ban from the late 1800s could stand in the state, Republican lawmakers gavelled out early to delay any action by the Democrats. Arizona's House lawmakers returned to session Wednesday, and fighting to repeal that law was at the top of the Dems' agenda. Laura Geary brings us more from the contentious debate.
We need to stop this. We need to stop murdering our children. Supporters of Arizona's near-total ban on abortions gathered outside of the State House Wednesday, while inside, the latest round in a fight to repeal the state's Civil War-era abortion law played out.
It is time to repeal this abhorrent 1864 abortion ban.
Some of us believe that abortion is in fact the murder of children.
Democratic lawmakers made 2 attempts to pass a motion to discuss a bill that, if passed, would roll back the controversial legislation. In the end, it was a tie along party lines.
30 ayes, 30 nays. The ruling of the chair is upheld,
with the chair as the tie-breaking vote, meaning the measure would not even be discussed on the House floor. The law, upheld by the state Supreme Court last week, makes all abortions illegal, with the only exception being for life-saving care. And it could punish abortion providers with up to 5 years in prison.
It's infuriating. I didn't go to medical school to go to jail.
One group called Healthcare Rising Arizona is collecting signatures to get abortion access on the ballot this fall in an attempt to enshrine abortion access in the state's constitution permanently. Meanwhile, some state leaders think the 1860s law doesn't go far enough.
The only way I would change it if I could is make it absolutely no exceptions at all.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got an alert day today for the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms with wind and hail as the primary threats. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Visit our showroom in beautiful downtown Parsons.
Right now at 5:30, a Missouri Department of Natural Resources investigation contaminated groundwater in Carthage.
And we have an alert day today for the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms, wind and hail, the primary threats. Take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Pittsburgh schools look to crack down on illegal passing of school buses.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So we have an alert day today. We have that possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms. Do want to take a moment to remind you what you're seeing at the bottom of your screen today is also our Hero Fund Telethon.
Absolutely, yes. We will be live taking donations at the noon, the 5, and the 6 this evening, and at the noon, of course.
Of course.
Yes.
And our very own Shannon Becker will be down there for the KOAM News at noon to cover all of this. However, again, we have that alert day in the weather department. So let's start with that. Here's what we're looking at. We've got strong to severe thunderstorms across the entire area possible today. So right now we're looking at thunderstorm chances between 8 and 4. It's going to be a matter of how quickly they're able to intensify as the cold front rolls through as to where that best window for stronger storms will be as we head through the morning and into the afternoon hours. So Skywatch Storm Tracker in our immediate area is still clear, but if you've been watching us since 5 this morning, take a look at those thunderstorms that are developing along the cold front. They're not strong, they're not severe, but they are getting going pretty quickly. Up to our north, we have that severe thunderstorm watch, again, just outside of our area, and they have a new severe thunderstorm warning north of Kansas City and dealing with strong storms all along that. So this here is the actual cold front, and these are the storms. I'm going to have to shift this a little further to the east, but these are the storms that are going to be impacting us as we go through the morning into the afternoon, and these are the ones that could potentially become strong to severe. So let's take a look at the loop on this, how quickly these little guys are starting to get going. So again, they're not severe at this point, but they are forming rather quickly, and they'll start moving into our northwestern counties here in the next couple of hours as we head through the morning hours, and that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. If they intensify quick enough, we could deal with some strong, potentially severe thunderstorms a little further west than what's currently expected. If they don't, then this is what the expectation is at this point. We have a low tornado risk, mainly across our eastern counties out there, a low to elevated hail risk, and a low to elevated wind risk across the area because as the storms roll in, they're expected to pick up a little more steam the further south and east they get because we're expected to have an opportunity to warm up a little more ahead of the front than our neighbors, say, like Yates Center, for example, in Chanute, where you may not really make it much warmer than where you're sitting right now. 69 in Joplin, 68 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures around the region, again, look about like this. We're a little cooler off to the east, mid-upper 60s, still well above normal. And then we've got some low 70s and upper 60s out west. And again, for folks like Yates Center, Chanute, Neodesha, Sedan, that may be about as warm as you get. You're going to reach your highs early this morning. Kids getting on the bus this morning. 65, mostly cloudy, breezy, south winds gusting to 25. By the time the bus heads home this afternoon, we're going to be behind that front, so about 67 north winds, 15 to 20, gusting to 35. Still dealing with some scattered thunderstorms out there, and we'll deal with those all the way through about 4, maybe 5 o'clock at the latest out there, and it's going to be breezy as well. Temperatures again falling behind the front, thankfully not plummeting, but they will begin to drop out there. We're going to have more information on these thunderstorm chances and what we're expecting and how our weekend is shaping up with your full forecast here in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon. Pittsburgh Community Schools is helping the state of Kansas ensure bus safety. The district is participating in the Kansas one-day stop arm violation count survey for the Department of Education. The survey is being conducted to help determine the prevalence of drivers illegally passing school buses.
When a bus comes slowing down, they will add and engage their amber lights, and then the bus will come to a complete stop where they then will activate the red lights, and a stop arm or stop sign will literally come off of the bus with flashing beacons. That is where the stop arm comes from, and that's where the survey is generated.
The state of Kansas reported 676 violations in 2023. That number is down about 23.3% from 2022's 882 violations. A group of Kansas community commissioners came to Pittsburgh yesterday to discuss the strategies for growing their counties and helping residents. The Kansas County Commissioners Association hosted its spring conference at Kansas Crossing Casino. It was a chance for them to learn about budgeting tips, accessing grants, and the appraisal of property values, among other topics.
We share ideas, things that are working, things that aren't working, talk about things going on at the state level, legislature, also at the federal level that we may be benefiting from, or things that might not be working, things that they've tried, other commissioners in other counties. So it's a lot of good conversation, a lot of sharing of ideas.
The best thing that I enjoyed so far is meeting other counties and discussing problems that each one of us have. And sometimes I'm very thankful I have the problems that I do versus what he's got. So yeah, sometimes it's, you never know.
One of the sessions included a media panel. The 3-day conference continues tomorrow. The Missouri Department of Natural Resources is investigating the source of contaminated groundwater in Carthage. The contaminant is a chemical called tetrachloroethylene, or PCE, and was detected in 3 or 12 wells that supply raw water to the Carthage Water and Electric Plant. In 2020, CWEP removed the 2 wells most impacted by PCE from service and it deactivated them. The source of the contamination is currently unknown.
A sample in the summer of 2024. We are going to be sampling for tree cores. So we will use off-gassing from tree core analysis to attempt to identify if the plume is shallow or in the deep aquifer.
CWEP treats all combined raw water before it's distributed to the public. PCE has not been detected in liquid waste or sewage water after treatment. Freeman Health System yesterday cut checks for 8 area nursing schools. Each school received $2,000 of a donation totaling $16,000. The schools receiving the donation are Crowder, Missouri Southern, NEO at Pitt State, Lebec Community College, Carthage Technical School, Franklin Technology Center, and Fort Scott Community College. Officials say the donations will help support the training of tomorrow's nurses.
That's why we volunteer. That's why we have a gift shop. That's why we do the things that we do, is to be able to give these funds. The nursing program, they're given the money with no strings attached.
The money is raised by the Freeman Auxiliary through gift galleries, raffles, and other events. 3 four-staters will head to Tulsa later today for the World Axe and Knife Throwing Championships. The 4-day event features contestants from around the globe competing for a $60,000 prize. Ben Fowler, Brody Pursley, and Kinson Michael are local throwers ready to put the rest of the world on the chopping block.
Competitors besides myself, Kinson Michelle, a Pitt State University student and Nixa, Missouri native. He's competing in the knife throwing portion of the tournament. Kinson, as of this week, is globally ranked #1. Brody Persley, longtime competitor in hatchet and knife throwing, will be competing in the hatchet portion of the tournament, and we're expecting him to win a few games and have a lot of fun and make a good run at the tournament as well.
The Main Street Axe Company will live stream the event from their Facebook and Instagram pages. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Pope Francis asked for prayers for those suffering in wars around the world. And Iran is now warning Israel against any type of retaliation after it launched an air attack on the region. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Sponsored by Aaron Sachs & Associates, proud partner of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Topping World Watch. An erupting volcano in Iceland mixes with colorful lights in the sky. In Grindavik, Iceland, red lava from a volcano meets up with the cool blue and green lights of the northern lights. Time-lapse video shows the unique visual during the aurora's strongest phase. The region has experienced 4 volcanic eruptions since December, resulting in evacuations. This current eruption has been spewing for 28 days, but Iceland's civil defense has lowered its alert level from emergency to danger. Pope Francis asked for prayers for those suffering in wars around the world, as well as for freeing prisoners of war. During his weekly audience on yesterday, the Pope urged those in attendance to pray for those in the midst of war in Israel, Gaza, and Ukraine. He went on to say that, quote, torturing prisoners is a very bad thing. It's not human, and that it hurts a person's dignity. The Pope has repeatedly called for an immediate ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Tensions in the Middle East continue. Iran is now warning Israel against any type of retaliation after it launched an airstrike on the region over the weekend. The conflict splurging lawmakers on Capitol Hill to move forward with new international military funding. Correspondent Jeff Paul has the story from Tel Aviv.
Another day of mourning in Rafah after overnight Israeli airstrikes. This in an area more than 1 million Palestinians moved to, hoping it would be safer. Israel blames civilian casualties on Hamas for fighting in dense urban neighborhoods.
They say there is safety in Rafah. There is no safety. It is only safe by God's side.
Israeli forces also carrying out airstrikes against Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon. The attacks done in retaliation over the militant group's rocket and drone attacks on northern Israel that wounded more than a dozen Israeli soldiers Wednesday. All of this happening as Iran warns Israel not to respond to their massive missile and drone attack over the weekend.
If the tiniest invasion is made by the Zionist regime against our homeland or our interests, they must be certain that they will face a very massive and harsh response.
Iran launched the operation in response to an apparent Israeli strike on Iran's embassy compound in Syria earlier this month. While most of the missiles and drones were intercepted, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to respond, even as allies urge him not to.
But it's clear the Israelis are making a decision to act. We hope they do so in a way that does as little to escalate this as possible.
Meanwhile, back at home, the fight for international military aid continues. House Speaker Mike Johnson releasing the text for 3 bills that would provide a combined $95 billion for Ukraine, Israel, and allies in the Indo-Pacific region. But passing the bills would be an uphill battle for Johnson, who is also facing a threat to his leadership over the issue. The House is expected to vote on the international aid bills this weekend.
That's it for World Watch. We'll be right back.
This is Scott with Windows for Less. Today to schedule your free at-home estimate. If you want the best for less, call Windows for Less.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:46 now on this Thursday morning. We have an alert day in place for the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms as we head through the morning and into the afternoon hours. So take a look. Again, if you've been with us through the morning, these thunderstorms out here, again, not severe, but there are more of them and they are getting more organized out to the northwest along the southern end of that cold front. So far, the stronger storms, there have been some severe storms up here around the KC area, have been confined to our north, and that severe thunderstorm watch cuts off right on our northern counties. That cold front is draped right about here, and we have these thunderstorms that are beginning to develop ahead of that front now to the north and northwest of Wichita, and these will continue to push to the east-southeast and eventually begin to roll into our northwestern counties in the next hour or so. As you can see, they developed pretty quickly. They got their act together. Again, they're not severe at this point, and it may take a bit for them to reach severe levels or even strong thunderstorm levels out there, which is why at this point the severe risk map looks about like this. Even though these storms will start rolling into our northwestern counties, they may not be able to intensify until they get a little further to the south and east. It's not to say that you couldn't still see a strong storm out in parts of southeast Kansas outside of these highlighted areas, but the better chances for them to intensify will be as they roll southeast. So we have that low tornado risk, a low to slightly elevated hail risk, and a low to elevated wind risk out there. Here's one of the reasons why these storms may not intensify until they get a little further south and east. Right now, in terms of temperatures in our northwestern counties, you're in the upper 60s, low 70s. You may not do much more warming than that because that cold front's right on your back door. However, ahead of the front, it's going to be a little bit before it gets down further southeast, and warmer temperatures may be possible ahead of that front, which will provide a slightly better environment for those strong storms. So here we are at 9 a.m. We've got that cold front. We've got those thunderstorms rolling through. By noon, we have a few of those scattered storms out there. And as you can see, redevelopment, even maybe right behind the front, is possible. And therefore, additional strong, potentially severe thunderstorms will be possible as we head into the afternoon. Because look at some of these temperatures right where these storms are developing, still considerably warmer than our northwestern counties. And by about 4 or 5 o'clock, that front shoves off to the south and east, and the greater severe threat follows it on out there. Right now in Joplin, we are sitting at 69, south breeze at 20, gusting to 30. We'll still have these gusty winds this afternoon, but once the front pushes through, that wind will shift out of the north. And as we look at temperatures around the region, again, some of our northwestern communities, Yates Center, Neodesha, Chanute, Iola, Sedan, these may be your highs. You may get a degree or two warmer than this, and then as that cold front rolls through, you'll start to cool down back behind that. And the rest of us will have an opportunity to at least make the mid-70s and maybe upper 70s, close to 80, a little further to the south and east. So through the morning, scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. Some of those could be strong to severe. And again, we're looking at highs for some of us right around the mid-70s, others a little cooler, others a little warmer. And that cold front will push through tonight, or through the afternoon rather, and we're going to get chilly tonight. Not super cold, but much colder than where we have been, much colder than normal, back into the mid-40s. For our Friday, still breezy, below normal temperatures through the weekend. Showers Friday night, continue through the weekend. Got a nice Monday, and we're watching more thunderstorm chances next week. Let's check your forecast. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
IndigoSkyCasino.com for details. Watch Weather Team, tracking conditions to help keep your family safe. Sponsored by John Cotton Roofing.
A space junk smashed into a home in Florida. NASA just confirmed the culprit came from the cosmos. Patrick Cornell has that story, and take a look at this.
Check out the damage to the Otero family home in Naples. In March of this year, Alejandro Otero says the debris ripped through the ceiling and floor, narrowly missing his son. Here he is in March describing the scary scene.
I was shaken. I was completely in disbelief.
Now, NASA has identified the object that came crashing down. This hardware is part of a 5,800-pound cargo pallet packed with batteries jettisoned from the International Space Station in March 2021. Scientists expected the space trash to burn up on entry, but one bit escaped through the atmosphere, eventually hitting the Otero house 3 years later. NASA says the recovered metal alloy object weighs 1.6 pounds. The agency will investigate its processes to try and make sure this doesn't happen again. Mom! Stop it, Mom! Ugh! Let me go! Let's give this mother a break who just wanted some extra birthday snuggles. May, the white-handed gibbon at the Oakland Zoo, just turned 13 and had her hands full and hair pulled by her little one who simply wanted to gallop in the grass. feels like Daddy Gibbon should have taken over parenting duty for the day. Where you at, Dad? Anywho, happy birthday. We hope you got some child-free me time. Speaking of high-energy animals, oh, wait. Shh. This one is trying to sleep. Fitz, the baby giraffe at the Memphis Zoo, is struggling to stay awake, and it looks like a real pain in the neck. Get it? For real, I'd be sidelined for days if I slept that way. Okay, so let's be real quiet so Fitz can fall asleep. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Wow, how cute was that baby giraffe? Stick around, we'll be right back.
Hey, 4 States, Chris here with Windows and More, where we're still the area's #1 option and your
Fund USA Giving Day on April 18th on KOAM.
LeBron James is heading to Paris for the Olympic Games. The 39-year-old is anchoring in Team USA's men's basketball squad. James is hoping to score another medal for his 4th Olympic appearance. He previously won gold in 2008 and 2012 games, as well as a bronze in 2004. This year's dream team includes Anthony Davis, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Jrue Holiday, Anthony Edwards, Kawhi Leonard, Therese Halliburton, and Bam Adebayo. Reigning NBA MVP Joel Embiid, will also be making his Olympic debut competing for Team USA. Golden State's Steve Kerr has been tapped as head coach. Pretty stacked team there. Doing something good for your health and fitness is always a good idea, but here's another reason. Today is National Exercise Day. You don't have to be a health enthusiast. This day is for everyone. Even Chris, who you can't see right now, is doing some exercises. You can use this day to get creative and think of new ways to get your body moving. You could also pick up a new hobby like gardening, go out dancing with friends, or burn some calories with a little spring cleaning. And with the warmer weather, it's a great time to explore a new park or trail, or take your dog out for an extra walk.
Exercise is probably something I need to do a little more of. I did do a good sprint down the hallway earlier. And then that wore me out, so that was about the end of that. We do have an alert day today, and that is because we could see some strong, potentially severe thunderstorms out there. So through the morning, we're seeing that cold front triggering thunderstorms off to the west now. It'll start rolling through the area. So the other difficulty with this cold front is determining the high temperatures for today. Some of you, and especially in our northwestern counties, we've been talking Iola, Yates Center, Chanute, Sedan, probably reaching your highs in the next 45 minutes or so. And then the cold front will push through, and it's not going to be any warmer than, say, about the upper 60s, low 70s. Others of us could make low mid 70s, and a little further southeast, you may even push close to 80, which is why the greater risk for strong to severe thunderstorms is a little further southeast as these storms enter an area that's had an opportunity to warm a little more. We'll have gusty south winds pushing 30 miles an hour or so out there, and then they'll shift out of the north behind that front. The storms will wrap up by about 5. It'll be cloudy through the evening and chilly tonight, back into the mid 40s out there. Still breezy on our Friday, below average temperatures into the weekend. Showers Friday night through Sunday. More storms possible next week. Let's check your forecast. We're back right after this.
Vita Nova Villages Cars and Crafts, Saturday, May 4th.